Hi everyone. We discuss the and we learn the topic on Peacock and Wiseman hypothesis. So earlierly we discussed the theory of public expenditure, Wagner's law of increasing state of activities, and Wagner's law of public expenditure. Okay. Now we have the another theory and another hypothesis, Peacock and Wiseman hypothesis of public expenditure. So another hypothesis regarding the growth of public expenditure was put forth by Peacock and Wiseman. Okay, the Peacock and Wiseman is criticized the theory of Wagner's law of state activities. For that purpose, Peacock and Wiseman have explored their theory towards the public expenditure. So is their Peacock and Wiseman their empirical study of public expenditure in United Kingdom for the period 1890 and 1955. Okay, their two Peacock and Wiseman they are revealed their empirical study in public expenditure in the United Kingdom. Okay, Peacock and Wiseman emphasize the time pattern of public spending trends rather than striving for a genuine positivity theory of public sector growth. So he emphasized the time pattern, okay, of public expenditure. Okay, different times, different different type of spending is there. That's why he emphasized on time pattern. And the main thesis of the authors is that public expenditure does not increase in a smooth and continuous manner, but in jumps and jerks or step like fashion. Their analysis involves three related elements. Okay, in this hypothesis, they are the public expenditure not increase the smooth or continuous. It is they explored the public expenditure has in jumps and jerks, like stepwise is there. Their analysis involve three related. Okay, this expenditure is not smooth and continuous. It is a jumps and jerks and steps likewise. That's why they revealed the analysis. This hypothesis involves three related elements. Okay, the three related elements are very important. The theory shows the how the public expenditure is there. Uh, there is there in the different type of three elements. These are displacement, inspection, and concentration effects. Okay, the three elements are in this hypothesis of Peacock and Wiseman: displacement, inspection, concentration. Okay, using empirical data for the British economy after 1890, Wiseman and Peacock observed that the relative growth of the public sector in the United Kingdom has followed a discrete step-like pattern rather than a continuous growth pattern. Okay, they are observed in the British country. Okay, United Kingdom country. So how the government is spending money? How is there smooth or continuous or jumps and jerks? He observed the expenditure is not continuous. The expenditure is jumps and jerks, like stepwise is there. During the period under study, they found that government fiscal activities in the country have risen step by step to successive new uh, plateaus. Moreover, the absolute and relative increases steps upward in taxing and spending activities by the British government have generally taken place during periods of major social disturbances or crises such as war and depression. Okay, the government expenditure is not like smooth and continuous. It is relative and absolute increases. That is a stepwise. Maybe it has a very rise. That is a new plateaus. Okay, it should be made in a taxing. The expenditure meet the meet from the taxing revenue, and the revenue spent different activities by the British government. Do take the during different type of periods of a major social disturbances or crisis. Okay, the any world involved. Many countries have the sometimes the social disturbances, sometimes economic crisis also faced by the different countries. For the in for such situations should be reduced by the government spending. So they are revealed this type of things should be happened in the country. These kinds of changed fiscal situation cause the previous lower tax and expenditure levels to be replaced by new and higher budgetary levels. This movement from the older level of expenditure and taxation to a new and higher level is called the displacement effect. Okay, the if the government have the fiscal situation, changed the fiscal situation. Uh, a fiscal situation is nothing but the taxes, expenditure, income. Okay, if have the lower tax and expenditure level to be reduced by new. If the government have the tax revenue, the tax revenue is very low, the spending level is also replaced by new. Maybe the government may be spending low or high. It determine the budget levels. This movement from older level means if the government have the less budget or less finance or less income, maybe uh, previous uh, previous much of expenditure not spending by the government. So that's why we can see the displacement effect. After the social disturbances has ended, the new level of tax to be tolerated by the society. Maybe so many changes have been occurred in the society in the all over the world and countries. Maybe social disturbances, maybe depressions. In that situations have we can see the displacement effects. Maybe have the maybe changes in taxes, maybe changes in the expenditure, maybe changes in the budget levels also. So that's why it is called the displacement effect. That displacement effect is caused with the disturbances, social disturbances, depression, when is economic crisis, recessions also. The emerged new levels of tax tolerance make the society willing to support higher levels of public expenditure. Okay, that if the country in the displacement effect situations have the maybe social disturbances, that should be removed by the new should be removed by the government spending. The government spending means the government have the should have the some amount of money. If the government have not the money, the for that purpose government should implement the new taxes slabs also. Okay, in other words, the tax threshold has increased. Thus, there is no strong motivation to return to the lower pre-crisis level of taxation. Okay, the government try to get the lower level of pre-crisis situations. Over the secular period in 1955, this displacement procedure occurred several times in Great Britain. Thus, when the major social disturbances ends, no strong motivation exists for the society to return to the lower pre-disturbance level. Okay, anyhow, the major social disturbances when the occurred in the Britain country, revealed by the Peacock and Wiseman, that should be okay. Sometimes it is ends, but no strong motivation exists for the society to return. Okay, that pre-disturbance lower pre-disturbance level we cannot expect it, but the government is try to reduce the social disturbances and economic crisis, wanted to try to reduce these situations. Okay, that is the displacement effect is also occurred in the any state. It should be it should be reduced by the government spending money. Okay, next, the higher government revenues are used to support permanently higher levels of public sector allocation. Okay, whatever the situation occurred, it should be removed by the higher levels of public sector allocation only. Clearly shows displacement effect as explained by the Wiseman and Peacock. Figure in this diagram demonstrates the displacement effect. Tax threshold behavior time years. Okay, in x-axis represent the time years 1890 1955 time period has taken by the Peacock and Wiseman for their theory purpose is measured along the horizontal axis. And while the public sector revenues, mostly taxes and public expenditure as a percentage of gross national product are measured along vertical axis. Okay, x axis time year and y axis GNP are the tax revenues. Okay, okay, in this, okay, this increase due to social disturbances. Okay, the when we follow the 1890, it may be time is going to the past, time is going to the uh, going to move forward, the social disturbances is increased. Okay, automatically the government should try to increase the expenditure as percentage of the GNP. Okay, and next it is increasing the GNP expenditure, next slowly down the expenditure, next up, next down, the expenditure is going to the jacks fluctuated. Okay, because means of taken the it is a time period, we have take the time period 1955, 1890 to 1955. The expenditure is going to the increase in upward, downward, upward, downward, upward, downward, upward. Okay, okay, this is situations are occurred in the Britain country, which is this research is revealed by the Peacock and Wiseman. The public expenditure is not smooth and continuous. It is have the jugs, some step like fashion also there. Okay, due to the it is when we taking the different type, the different times during the different time periods. The figure reveals that as the social disturbances cause a relative expansion of public expenditure, the displacement effect which occurs helps to explain the time pattern by which the government growth takes place. Okay, if the if the government is going to move the um, development way, it should be take the time. Okay, so that's why in the development process we can get the resistance, depressions, or we have the social disturbances also there, which it should be removed by the government expenditure. Okay, that is called the displacement effect. Does not require that the new high plateau of expenditure continue the same expenditure composition that was created by the social disturbance. Some of the increased expenditure like debt, interest rate are the direct results of the social disturbances. Okay, while other expenditures arose as a result of technological development and expansion of government activity into new areas. For instance, war and other social disturbances frequently force to the people and their government to find out a lasting solution to the long standing and pending problems which were previously neglected. Okay, expenditure maybe rise in for the technological development of the country and expansion of government activities into new areas. Okay, if the government has to is spending money on into new areas, in any new projects, in any new any infrastructure projects, it should be the government spending money is more increased. Okay, okay, it otherwise we face the war problems and other social disturbances. Okay, force the people, and the government is uh, resolved to solve the problem in the long term standing. Okay, not the if maybe pending the problems also should be done by the government also. Okay, this is next thing is the known as inspection effect. Inspection effect is the inadequacy of revenue in comparison with the required public expenditure. Okay, another element in the Peacock Wiseman hypothesis is the inspection. Okay, previous slide we have discussed the displacement effect. Next effect is inspection effect. Inspection effect is the inadequacy of revenue in comparison with required public expenditure. In addition to the displacement and inspection effect, Peacock Wiseman also give narration about a concentration effect. Okay, it refers to the apparent tendency for the central government economic activity to become an increasing proportion of total public sector economic activity when a society is experiencing economic growth. Okay, in this inspection effect, the government is have the inspector diagnosis all the problems, what are the social problems and what are have the economic crisis are there. So these are all are the inspected and diagnosed by the government. In that way, the government, what amount is required for removing those are all are the situations in the country. So for that, apparent tendency for the central government economic activity to become an increasing proportion of total public sector economic activity. Okay, it should be there, the government increasing their economic activities to reduce the economic to reduce this type of disturbances, to get the stabilized the economy. This occurs because central government has to initiate a number of measures to sustain higher economic activity. Since each major disturbance leads to situations in which the central government assuming a larger proportion of the total national economic activity, that net result is the concentration effect. Okay, the government is concentrated on the different type of disturbances. Okay, Ma, Wiseman and Peacock hypothesis appears to be quite relevant at the outlet. The hypothesis looks quite convincing. It emphasizes checks and jumps in public expenditure on account unusual and abnormal situations. And according to Professor Aronson, for Peacock and Wiseman, expenditure growth is sporadic rather than constant, and revenues create their own expenditures. However, we must not forget the fact that on account of the advance of the economy and the structural changes therein, there are constant and regular increments of in public expenditure and revenue. Okay, the Peacock and Wiseman, he analyzed his hypothesis, taken the three effects, three elements, uh, a displacement effect, inspection effect, and concentration effects. Okay, these are all are effects are occurred in the any economy due to different type of disturbances, and the government is also have expenditure due to these are the effects have the different public expenditure is not the smooth and continuous, it has a up and downs, so small jumps and jerks also there in the public expenditure due to the abnormal situations. Okay, the public expenditure has tendency to grow account of systematic expansion of growth government activities, both in terms of intensity and quality. The regular and dynamic changes in state activity and public spending caused by macro variables like population growth, urbanization, awareness of civic rights on the part of citizens, and political and social commitments on the part of democratic governments voted to power, and are major factors giving a big push to upward trend in public expenditure. Okay, that we have take the macro variables in the macro population, urbanization, awareness, it is going to the dynamic changes is there in the different macro variables. Okay, definitely we can see in the any economy. Okay, for that influences of these factors on government spending were not systematically analyzed by Wiseman and Peacock in their hypothesis. However, Bernard P. Harber sincerely argues that the Peacock-Wiseman hypothesis of governmental spending trends is much more modest in what it intended to explain than Wagner's hypothesis. The fact is that both Wagner's and hypothesis Wiseman narrations contribute a lot understanding the process of public sector growth in industrialized nations. Okay, they Peacock and Wiseman are tried to get the how the government is spending is there, how the government spending is pattern is there towards the according to time during the time periods, and how the pattern is there the public expenditure. This is the narration's contribution, a lot of understanding the growth of the economy. It is done by the government. Okay, thank you all for the watching this video on Peacock and Wiseman hypothesis towards the public expenditure. So public expenditure, the hypothesis done by the Peacock and Wiseman, he has revealed his research on in British country during the 1890 and to 1955. He has they have taken the different time periods, in different time periods what amount of expenditure of as percentage of GNP is there, and that expenditure as percentage GNP is going to be increasing and decreasing. That is the step like fashion is there in expenditure done by the government, not smooth and continuous. He has focused on that expenditure is also have different elements, displacement and um, uh, inspection and concentration effects. For that purpose we can see the what amount of spending amount by the government, and what how to reduce the different type of social disturbances, and different type of economic situation, recession depressions we should be removed by the government spending. Okay, thank you all for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.